Good morning, church. I came upon this interesting subject that past little while, and it ended up with the question of what's in a name. We just had to recently name a puppy, and that's the name that's going to be with him all his life. And that's the name that's the first thing he knows when he's now 10 weeks old. He's smart as a button. He's a border collie, and within 2 or 3 days, he had his name down pat. His name is Jet. Of course, he knows his name is Jet. No, no, I'm pretty sure that he knows his name Jet. It's amazing how quickly that happened because he that allowed him now to know that when I call Jet, I'm referring specifically to him, not his big brother Benny, or not anyone else. My calling him by name, I'm calling him Jet. I know his name, and when I call his name, it means that I am bringing his attention to me, and I am giving him my attention. Sometimes it's for a word of correction, sometimes it's for a word of praise, but one way or the other, I'm giving him my attention. So then, what's in the name? Well, that's exactly what we're going to be looking into this coming Sunday. What's in the name? We're going to be visiting the book of Jeremiah, chapter 1, verses 4 to 8. We're going to be going through Paul's great love letter, 1 Corinthians 13, 11 to 13, and our gospel lesson is going to be Luke 4, verses 21 through 30. And all of this deals with just what's in a name. The Bible says, now that I know only in part, then I will know even fully, even as I have been fully known. And that's from 1 Corinthians 13, it's verse 12b. it's it's amazing to know that God knows our name. And when God calls our name, we know that he's calling us specifically. Yes, we may have been given the name by our parents, but God's name for us, he has a name for us, and it is exclusively ours. So then, what's in a name? Well, you may not think of it when you call somebody by name, but when we know a person's name and remember it and call them by it, we sum up their whole story in that name and tell them that they are matter to us. We tell them that they are important enough to us that we remember who they are. And friends, I can't tell you how good it makes me feel when I meet somebody and sometime later on that we meet each other again, they know and remember me. They remember who I am and they call me by name. I am unique to them and I matter. How many of you love it when you walk into maybe a restaurant that you frequent, or some business establishment that you frequent, or even better, you're on the phone and all they do is hear your name and they are able to call you by name. They know who you are. It makes you feel, and I don't like to use this word, it makes you feel special. And you should, because that means that person has devoted space in their brain to remember who you are. You matter to them. For some reason or other, you matter to them. It's important to them who you are. Well, it's important to God who you are. And that's why he says that now I know only in part, then I will know fully. And that's the time when we come to meet God. And he says, even as I am fully known, God knows each hair on our head or in our beard, as the case may be. God knows exactly who you are. He knew you when you were formed in the womb, the Bible tells us. You are important to him. And so many of us just don't realize that. We go through life with the relationship that we really don't take any part in. For even those who do not believe, God calls them by name. He knows who they are. Now they may not reciprocate by calling him by name or knowing him, but he knows them. And that's why we take time now to get to know him better. In whatever way that we come together or corporately or even on our own to pray, we want to know who God is because he knows who we are. One of the great things that bothers me as I'm aging is I'm finding it's harder to remember names. Now, I hear that's normal, but it still troubles me greatly because I love to be able to look at someone in the eye and call them by name, letting them know that my focus is on them. I'm focusing on them. They matter to me. Their story. I may not know their story, but I'm planning on knowing their story because I'm going to listen to them and they are going to be able to tell me their story and I'm going to be able to put it with that name and that is going to sum up who they are, you know? My wife often tells me when I make some kind of stupid judgmental statement when I'm, driving in the car or something like that, when I'm not being who I'm supposed to be. She tells me, you don't know the whole story. And she's right, I don't. None of us do. There was a time after my heart surgery that I wasn't allowed to pick up anything heavier than a gallon of milk. Now, I used to power lift when I was younger, and I spent a great deal of my time lifting weights. They may say, "Oh, that's why he's dumb." No, I'm just kidding. They don't say that, but I spent a lot of time staying in shape by lifting weights and working out on universal equipment and all these types of things. Um, and here I am now, and at the time I was about 64, I think 65, and I was not able to pick up anything more than a gallon of milk, and that made me feel horrible. So here we are outside of BJ's in Lebanon, New Hampshire, and we're unloading the cart. And in the cart, there's cases of water, and in the cart, there was kitty litter and all sorts of heavy stuff that I wasn't allowed to lift. So I had to stand there in the parking lot as cars were going by and people were walking by and watch my wife pick up all these heavy weights, the gallons of pardon me, the quarts, the cases of water and all of these things. And I felt horrible, not only because Linda was picking the stuff up, because she's strong, she's able to do it, but the image that it cast and throughout the parking lot. People coming by and looking at me, this lazy guy watching while his wife is doing all the work. Linda turned to me and says, "Honey, you don't know the whole story." Oh, she gives me these little bits of wisdom all through her life. She's done this, that, and they just amaze me, and sometimes sometimes tick me off, but they do amaze me. And she's right. They didn't know the whole story. They didn't know that I almost died about 4 weeks earlier. They didn't know that. And they didn't know that the amazing surgery they did, an open heart surgery on me, was able to not only save my life, but give me a good quality of life moving forward. The same as it did for my dad, exactly as it did for my dad, except I had one more bypass than he did. I had a quadruple bypass, and he only had three. But all that aside, people don't know that whole story. So, friends, I want you to work on remembering the names of those who come in contact with you. Let them know that they matter. Friends, you matter to me. God, you matter to God, and He loves you, and so do I. So please stay healthy, stay safe, and God bless you. And I'll see you tomorrow. And until then, goodbye.